You have to be curious. And humility is a powerful tool. Humility is actually a strength, which is counter to what most people believe.
This episode brought to you by Restaurant Systems Pro. With excitement, allow me to introduce to you today's guest, founder of Down to Earth Wine Concepts LLC, Brian Duncan. Brian, my man, are you feeling unstoppable today?
Of course.
Yes, super excited to have you here.
If you have the kind of persona that enters a room to be poured into, then you can get filled. But if you go in thinking that you know everything, there's no room.
Yeah. When you say humility, what does that word humility mean to you?
Humility is positioning yourself to constantly to be a learner.
Yeah.
And to respect and honor other people. And it's the otherness that so much is missing. We've had all kinds of influences, technology certainly being one of the main ones, that have erased some of our manners and decorum. And because we're click happy, the humanity feels like it's decreasing. And the technology just keeps going. And the quicker the technology goes, the less humanity I see. One of the goals when I was trying to open Bin 36 was I made a punch list of all the things I hated about how wine was trotted out and how it was treated, how guests were made to feel self-conscious, or even in some cases silly or unsophisticated. And so I went down and I created this punch list of all the things that I didn't enjoy about the wine experience in restaurants and the other things about restaurants that were just unpleasant to me. And I built that as my filter for every decision that was made. Everything from the architecture, interior architecture, how does the guest move throughout the space? Are there things that we're designing that feel uncomfortable, even though we don't know? Here's an obvious one. The building that we were in, the windows were painted in so you couldn't see from the outside. So when you go to a restaurant or a public place and it's blacked out, it feels exclusive. And so what we did was open up that space. It was 13,000 square feet.
Wow.
And we had blonde wood floors, and it just felt good. It felt like you were almost on a beach.
Yeah.
Not in the middle of the Midwest.
Welcome.
And one of the things that people said, especially women, was that they felt safe there, even though that they could sit at a bar. So that meant a lot to me. In the beginning, we wanted people to learn about wine in an interactive way and not make it so stiff. So it was very playful. There were 50 wines by the glass. Every menu item had a recommendation, which you rarely see in restaurants.
Back in 1999 is when you started.
1999.
So very progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's such a successful formula to that because you give people choices and they actually are really tasting things that they wouldn't have chosen on their own. So we did wine flights with that. And there were always progressions and there was logic to it. I always felt like the wine flight was poorly presented. People would have wines in a flight that had no relationship or theme to them. So we constantly were creating these categories.
Yeah, just filling in the glass for the sake of filling the glass.
Fun stuff.
Just,
one was called Bubbles. So it was, sparkling wine and champagne from around the world. Sexy Reds, which speaks to texture, speaks to, people can relate when you say, oh, okay, I get it. And then, we would use those things to draw people in, to entice them. and people made discovery. If you want someone to be loyal or become excited about your establishment, make something discoverable that they can walk away and say, guess what I did last night?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I do? Or where have I been that I was so relaxed about putting myself in their hands?
Yeah. You in my research of you mentioned you want to be educating your team, but
without them feeling like that they're being educated.
Yeah, and your guests though.
Yeah.
And that's such a huge